I think I'm falling in love with Tim Volter already. Hello there and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today I'm going to break down everything that went on in the first press conference for Tim Volter as Hull City manager. I've just been live with my reaction and watch along party for it. It is uploaded on the channel if you do want to go back and watch that. The actual press conference will be uploaded, I believe, over on Tigers Plus if it isn't already as you are watching this. But let's break down everything that's just happened in the press conference of Tim Volter at Hull City. Going through the Hull Live reaccounts from James Smiles. I'll feed in with things that I picked up as I was going on through the press conference. So first of all, it started off a little bit late. Not 100% sure on what was the whole dealings on why it was running about 25 minutes behind schedule, but we was waiting and it still came through with the fantasticness of Tim Volter. Welcome from Ajun. Today is an important day for our club because we're starting a new time for our club and we are all excited. Tim is for us number one choice of our football brain team. He was the number one target. There were many technical directors who wanted to work with us and some successful coaches were interested, but our target was always Tim Volter. Expressed later on towards the end of the press conference that Ajun received word from a few different people that Tim Volter and his work over in Bayern Munich's second team over in the German divisions on the development of young players was a key thing, why Tim Volter's name was chucked around very early on and why he was looking at him for quite some time. It was a fantastic meeting when we came together. After the meeting in London, we had one more really important meeting that saw that we were completely on the same page. His style of football and the way of controlling the team is really suitable to my football mentality. I think that we have achieved fantastic performances in the last 2 years, and I will never forget Liam Rosenior's improvement to our team. He will forever be in our hearts. Sounds a little bit like Liam Rosenior's not with us anymore, but we'll move on. Moving on to the future, we finished 15th, then 7th, and now our aim is to push even more with a different style of football. I want our fans to believe in us and know whatever we're doing is for the beautiful club. I love them. They don't need to agree with all my decisions. Maybe some don't like this. I'm respectful to all of our fans. Now our new decision is Tim Volter, and I'm extremely excited to see his team on the pitch. Let's start with this new era with him. Feeding on from that, Adrian was later asked about sort of what the aims are, what the aspirations are. I didn't go fully into detail, but he said anything on top 10 is successful, and then top 6 is the ambition. Then feeding on from that led on to the fact that last season the Championship was like the Premier League and this season it's not as competitive because obviously the factors of the clubs that have moved up were the teams that were really struggling in tests, and I think we can all agree that this season will be a little bit of an easier test, but of course it's the Championship, anything can happen. I could be eating my own words in a few months' time. First words from Volter here. I'm very happy to be here. I was made in Germany, but I was built for England. Our vision fits perfectly. I'm very happy to be here. My philosophy will fit perfectly to the style of football in England. This is a new challenge and I'm very excited. I have a winning mentality and this fits perfectly together. We're on the same wavelength and there's no good feeling, and there's a good feeling with our gym. We can work well together and be successful. It's a perfect fit. Then Walter was talking about Preseason. It's the first thing to get to know everyone and get to know the lads, the fans and the press. I don't know England well, but it's a perfect challenge. So it seems that he wants to get to know everything. He wants to sort of make up his own mind, get his own decisions, get everything laid out for him before he goes in really hammering on different decisions and bits like that. In Hamburg, we scored the most goals and had the best expected goals. We played differently. It's fluid, it's passive, and it moves. And there's a lot of principles in my game. It will be different. Very excited to see how the team can rise to this challenge. I think that if it works, it will be a fantastic time as a Hull City fan to watch this team work under Volta Ball. I watched a lot of games in the Championship. Football is the same everywhere, and winning is the same everywhere. The league is very competitive, and there are a lot of midweek games, so you have to prepare more in pre-season because we're playing differently. At the end, we want to win, and that's good for us. Let's talk about promotion at a later date. He definitely seems on sort of laying things out to start off with, see how things go. It does seem to be a long-term decision. Hopefully it works and it cracks on in the first season, but we won't be too quick to judge if it doesn't. Of course, it's his first time managing outside of Germany. When I want something, I'm upset if I cannot get it. This is Adrian, not Tim, if you couldn't guess. It happened in the transfer window last year. My mission, which affects the whole team, is to get what I want. And I would have been very upset if we couldn't agree with Tim. There are many good coaches out there, but Tim's ideas couldn't suit my philosophy more. There we go. I'm very excited. There's nothing Tim would bring that Liam didn't have. They're very different characters, and I don't like to compare them. It was a key thing that Adrian was saying. They don't like to compare managers, and it's very different appointment. This is coming on the fact that it's Adrian's third managerial appointment in just over 3.5 years as Hull City owner. I'm very hopeful. If Tim will be here and delivering the football we expect, I'm sure he will do. After that, I'm dreaming that he will be here for a long time. I'm sure he will fall in love with the city. The people make it beautiful. Tim will fall in love with the fans, and the relationship will not be easy to break. My dream is to have so many years with Tim and a good future together. There you go. Seems like this will be a definite long-term appointment if things do crack on. Hoping that Adrian remains happy in the situation, but Volta does seem to be. This is Volta now talking about his style of football. It's high intensity. Also, we play with a lot of possession, but it's a lot of working on and off the ball. It's important to have a good mentality working off the ball to create chances on the ball. If you have high possession, you'll still lose the ball, but you have to regain the ball as soon as possible. That's what we'll try and do in every training session. So training is a big factor in the Volta ball. Pressure is a privilege. Like Adrian said, we have a good relationship and way of thinking. I'll try to bring my energy to the club, the boys and the fans, so a perfect match. The expectations are to be offensive, emotional for the fans. That's the main target. Seems to be a very outgoing and determined man. We have a lot of work to do. The recruitment department is very good, and there are a lot of things to do. We have maybe 12 players at the moment, and I'm looking forward to having a very good squad. Seems to be recruitment was a big one, and I really liked his wording on the fact that he wants to bring in the right players. We'll move on to that in a second. He was just talking about his coaching staff. Yesterday, he spoke to Andy Dawson. We had a good call together. He'll be perfect and very good for me. I think we'll have a perfect match, and it'll be great to have his knowledge of this league. And then he went on to say about who else will be getting brought in. I think this was a question from somebody, maybe Mike White or somebody like that. And it was just two guys from Hamburg, the two men we know about. I can't fully remember the names off the top of my head, but it's the two guys we know about. Those are the two joining his backroom staff from Hamburg. But the rest remains as is so far. Of course, Lee, the head of recruitment, will probably get a new person coming in, as Adrian expressed later on. On the new signings, we have ambitions that we want new players. It's a challenge, but I'm sure we will find the right players who will fit into my philosophy. The right players. That's key. Not just any players. He was going into the right players, so he won't go around wasting time, wasting Adrian's money. Of course, Adrian said he's only got 15 million out of his own pocket that he can play with due to financial fair play. So the right players will be key. Of course, loans will be key as well. We'll come on to that a little bit later on. Both sides agreed in principle very quickly, but there was no rush for either of us. We took it very easy and didn't want to even start the paperwork conversations. It was a handshake, and then we took our time. 3 weeks ago, we agreed there was no game, no preparation, so we could take it easy, and there was no rush. Apparently, A lot of it was down to Tan and how Tan likes to take his time. And the 1st of July start, that is just because he's coming from another club and there's nothing important. That's what was said. Seems a little bit of a beat around the bush situation, but I'm sure it's nothing too much to worry about. Then Adrian went on to go and express about all the things that we know about him already, how much we like him and all the things like that. And then moving back onto transfers. There are FFP limits and there is big pressure on championship clubs. They will only let me spend 14 to 15 million pounds from my pocket. I will spend to the limit, but after that we cannot spend any more. At the moment, we don't have room for big transfers. If one of our big players goes, then that is a different scenario. We'll feed on to the Jacob and Jaden debacle later on, as that was quite one of the closing arguments. But I don't want any of our big players to go. We have 5 loan options too. We have a good squad already without our loans. We have a good goalkeeper in Panda, who will be our number 1 goalkeeper. A lot of argy-bargy about Adrian and Panda in this conference. He definitely seems he seems very passionate about Panda. He said expressly that he did not ask Liam to play him last season, but he seems that he wants Volta to play him this season, and hopefully he does so, because he's a brilliant man. Our left backs, centre backs, Ozan, Philogene, young guys coming through. We have a good structure of the team. I think 5 loans, and we will be good. And then Volta coming a little bit more on his style of play. I don't want to compare to other coaches, but it's good for me that the team previously played in a possession style base, of course, under Liam Rosenia. It will take some time for sure to play his style of game, because he does play a bit differently and that bit more. It's a step up, I think, more on Liam Rosenia's game. And then there is really good players here, and it's good to have a good base. That is good for us, and we want to be better. Therefore, we need more quantity in our squad. It's an aim to get better all the time. Talking a bit on Preseason. Preseason did get a little bit of a mention in here, and it was quite nicely. Preseason tour in Turkey once again, 10 days in the Turkish international camp once again, and the fans will be invited over to Istanbul. In 2 days' time, I think Adrian said that he's announcing a pre-season game against a different team in a unique stadium and a unique team. I think he said that was the wording. So I'll be interested to see on that one. Make sure you stay tuned on the channel, as I will keep you up to date on everything around that. But pre-season does seem to be getting its stuff moving on. As pre-season will be important, I cannot wait until it starts. I have a different style of play, so it'll take some work, and I want to create a family so that it can help us be successful. More talk about building the squad and the bits that we already know about Tim. Adrian then expressed sort of to the fans that a bit similar to what he was expressing in that evening with Adrian that he did a few weeks ago, that they may not agree with his decisions, but someone has to make the decisions at the end of the day, and it's got to happen. And then feeding on from that, a bit about Fenerbahce, as it was a little bit more of a nitpicky on Adrian at the moment, and just saying that he's over there just to help out a very close friend, and that's the only reason why he's there over at the board of directors. He's a very close friend with the president, and of course with the way that Fenerbahce is run without having an owner, it seems that that will be a little thing where he will only go over there if he is needed. And in these cases, Mourinho was the first appointment and first operation for him over there, and hopefully the tie-up of the two clubs won't be too major, but I doubt it with the way that it sounds. He's saying about transfers once again, that they want to get the players in to fit into Volta's style of football, but of course loan players and good loan players from the Premier League, that will take time, of course, with seeing how things move. I like this quote from Volta, and we said it on the stream, that it's a perfect quote. We don't need early transfers, we need the right transfers. Get that on a t-shirt, get that on a mug, get that plastered all over the walls. That is the quote for the ages. Adrian was then talking about some of the exits with Lee Darnborough. We'll cover that in a video later on in the week, and what that could mean for Volta's backroom staff. And then Volta was talking about the physical approach to the game. We'll get the players in good shape. My style is different, so we'll have to train differently. You have to train how you want to play and how you want to see it on the pitch. It's physical and mental. That's what he was saying, the physical side and the mental side. So there will be a lot of work going on behind that with the physical and the mental side of the game. And then sort of coming around to wrap things up. Hull City is a love for me. I'm living the dream to my highest level. I hate it when there are no games, and every day I'm counting down to see my team play with our new coach. In 2 days, I'll talk about a surprise game for our fans, and we think they'll love it, and soon we can announce it. So, that was all for the breakdown of the press conference over at the MKM Stadium. Of course, there's a few little extra bits, so go and check out the live stream that is uploaded from earlier on today, where we was going through the nice press conference. So make sure you go and check that out. You can also go and check out the press conference highlights. There's going to be clips all over Hull City's socials and everything like that, Tigers Plus, all that goodness. But make sure that you do like and subscribe to this channel, as we do keep you updated on everything Hull City, daily videos, and with the reign of Tim Volta, Volta Ball is here, and you do not want to miss any of it. So like and subscribe, and I will catch you in a video tomorrow where the Volta reign continues. Up the Tigers.